and I'm here to introduce Mr. Vivek Atray. Mr. Vivek Atray, former IAS officer turned author, mentor, and visionary, enriches minds as a visiting professor at Shoolini University. He is the founder of the Sugata think tank, with novels like Move On, Bunny, and insightful columns in the Hindustan Times. To his credit, he continues to inspire and shape perspectives. He is here to enlighten us on leadership, choices, and futures. Let us welcome him with a huge round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
That always works. It's a very tough act to follow, Chetna. You shouldn't have done that before I came on stage. Chetna, are you listening to me? Very difficult act to follow. So I'll do two things. I'll speak and I'll listen, and I will keep it formal for only 2 minutes and informal for about 10 minutes in my talk. And then we'll have questions because my session is titled Ask Me Anything, which is a very dangerous title for the speaker, but I'm ready. Now, let me say that this is a very unique experience. Very grateful to all the luminaries, dignitaries, students, management of the school, the faculty, the leaders in the hall for being here. And how many of us are not leaders, by the way? Anyone who's not a leader, please raise your hands. I noticed the last row raising hands. Please put it down again. Everybody in this hall is a leader, whether you're a student or a teacher. And we'll talk about leadership. We'll talk about empathy. And then I expect you to ask me anything, which is the title of the talk. I want to thank Anil Srinivasan especially for inviting me here. He's a dear friend and he's a very innovative entrepreneur. And don't worry too much about his piano playing. He's only brilliant at that. He's super brilliant at his crew, which is what we're here about. And he's the founder of Crew. He's, and I'm also one of the advisors, so I have to promote Crew anyway. Ravi Santlani, who has a Sant in his name. Where is Ravi? You're a Sant, because you have Santlani, and we'll find out whether you actually are a Sant or not later. But very thankful to you for putting this together. I think it's a very unique experiment, a very forward-thinking kind of approach to this conference. I love the title LASSI, and I also love Rasam, Churma, whatever you come up with. And I'm sure we can add something like Pani Puri one day to the proceedings, which we all love. So that was nearly the formal part of my speech, but I must not forget that Shoolini University, which I'm representing here, is also one of the universities which is very liberal in its approach. Though it is a core sciences and biosciences university, liberal arts has taken on a greater hue in the university. And let me proudly say that the head of liberal arts at Shoolini University is not here, of course, is Professor Samdu Chetri from Bhutan, who is one of the gentlemen responsible for Bhutan's adoption of the happiness index. So do you know that Bhutan actually adopted the happiness index? So let's start with the informal part of my talk, for which I will walk. And don't worry about my picture over there. It's probably the worst picture that I have. But I sent it deliberately, trying to look a little informal, non-formal, whatever. So now tell me, everyone, can you hear me at the back? Last row, okay. What is the happiness index of Bhutan that Bhutan has adopted? Anyone who can explain briefly? Quickly? Yeah, over there. A little loudly without the mic. Yeah. Perfect. What's your name, sir? Padmanabhan. Super. So a round of applause for Mr. Padmanabhan. Now, most countries, they follow the GDP model, which is the gross domestic product. That's the economy, right? You saw Indian administrative services somewhere there. It's not services, actually it's service, but all the services put together are the services. Now, GDP is something that India also follows. But Bhutan says, what's the point of the GDP if we can't make people happy? If we look at the goal of life, and I know this is raising the level beyond the roof, what is the goal of life, anyone? I know it's out of syllabus, but what is the goal of life? Happiness is the goal of life. I give you the clue with the happiness index. So if we are not working towards our own happiness and the happiness of others, whatever else we're doing, it doesn't really count. Anyone here who wants to be sad? There's a term we use in North India, it's called Dukhi Atma. It could also be Rondu type. Okay? I'm sure there's a Tamil version of it which Anil will tell me later. By the way, Anil and Chetna I accompanied them in the car to Ooty yesterday. So I was with the curators, so I got the best slot in the house, right? I got the best slot in the time schedule. Thank you for that, Anil and Chetna. You accompanied me in the car, right? Okay, she's doing haw, which is a very expressive thing to do. Haw, right? Very Indian thing, haw. Okay, but I want to ask you a question before I start a few points. How many of you watched Sam Bahadur, the film? I like it. It seems like the school has screened Sam Bahadur because a lot of them have seen it. Wow, super. A round of applause for all those who saw Sam Bahadur. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Now I'm going to ask you, very truthfully raise your hands if you saw Animal. Animal, please raise your hand. One of them put the hand up and then down. There's nothing to feel shy about watching Animal, okay? Okay. Now your homework is, if you didn't watch Sam Bahadur and you watched Animal, you jolly well go and Sam Bahadur as well. Because life is not about the grotesque. Grotesque is a word I borrowed from somebody who comes from Kerala. He's an MP. He uses words like grotesque. The thing is, life is not about negativity, it's also about leadership, inspiration. So when we talk of liberal arts, what is the goal? What's the goal of having this expanse of education which can create? What can it create? It can create leaders. And what about coding? How many of you love coding? Coding, software, coding, yeah? Okay. Coding clubs in the school and all that. How many years can you do coding? A person who knows coding will become a leader of a team after 5 years. You go to the real world and you become the leader of a team which is coding. And that coding team is to be led by a human being. And that coding team consists of human beings. Now I have a TEDx talk on AI versus the human element. And we heard a beautiful presentation on the career choices. The point is, are we going to be human beings after 20 years? Now I'm an electronics engineer by default. I wanted to do liberal arts, but I was made to do engineering. I didn't want to. Now, Zabardasti, just by force, I became a writer and a speaker. Nothing to do with electronics engineering. But after 20 years, we're going to have a chip in our wrist. Maybe 10 years. We're going to have something in our retina. Are we still going to be human? Yes, we're going to be human. We're going to be semi-automated humans. Are you scared? Who is scared of this? I think the front rows are scared because the teachers are in the front rows. And the students are not scared because they're born with technology. They're born on Instagram. You know what a village is known as in Hindi? Gram is another word, right? Gram. And Insta? Gram. So you live in Insta? Gram, the village which is called Instagram. By the way, I'm also on Instagram. You can follow me after this, right? How many of you heard of the Ranveer show? TRS, bare biceps, okay? All right. And I came on it twice, right? I came on it twice. Now that I said only to grab your attention a little more. I only said it because, no, I'm not being pompous. I'm just trying to tell you that you need to listen to me carefully now. The leadership qualities that you imbibe in your school are what are going to stand you in good stead in future. All the knowledge that you gain, all the information that you garner, all the physics, chemistry, science, history, geography, whatever, will not be of any use if you cannot lead other people. Having people skills is important even in the era of AI. Talking to people and listening to people are qualities which are undervalued. Conversation skills with filter coffee, which is a choice, which is an option. You can have chai also. We are in the Nilgiris, but filter coffee. Conversation and coffee. Talking to people, listening to people, and not just texting people is important. So I go around India and I talk to the youth. I'm not going to name the colleges. I've been to IITs, etc., where you want to go. The thing is, those students who are in IITs are also overthinking, overindulging in social media. So you guys over there, with the good vibes that you have to have better vibes in order to succeed in life. The vibe that you emit, the aura that you have, the person that you are is more important than what you know and the qualifications that you possess. See, every sentence that I'm saying here is potentially something that can impact your life in a positive way. There is a recording which is probably taking place. So the gentleman has very sensibly moved there because I'm walking around. He was standing here when the previous speaker was speaking because that previous speaker was stationary. Now I'm walking around, he's taking a video from there. The thing is, try and imbibe, ingrain, learn what is happening on stage in this conference and apply it in your life. What I have said till now, I'll recap the gist of it. The goal of life is happiness. Leadership is a quality that we all have to possess and display. And people skills, communication are part of that. Whatever intelligence I have, my emotional intelligence is more important. Whatever level of Mensa, IQ, etc. I have is important, but emotional intelligence is more important. Where am I focusing upon? It was said by Maheshwar ji that the IIM, the IAS, the IITs are important. All these I's are important. What is I, by the way? Ego. Ego is I. Me. All these I's. I am this, I am that, I want this, I this, my that, me this. So if you're focusing only upon yourself, you're not really displaying any leadership for the world, for your society, for your family, for your friends. So my next point to you is, imbibe leadership qualities, and a very important component of that is empathy. If you think of others, you grow. If you think of others, the universe conspires to help you. The universe conspires to help you. When we are self-centered and egocentric, then we are defeatist. We are selfish. We're not helping anyone, we're selfish. So all I want to say to all of you is, be liberal in your mind. Think of new ideas, receive new ideas, have feelings for those who can't help you. There is a saying, be kind to people on the way up in life because you meet the same people on the way down. Just be kind to people. Think of your rickshawala if you ever traveled in a rickshaw. Think of the bus driver. Think of the sweeper person. Think of the helper. Ask them how they're feeling today. In the era of AI, a person who's at his workstation doesn't even look at the left and right person and ask and find out, hey, you're not feeling yourself today, you're feeling a little low. What happened to you at home? What is it today? Why is your mood a little off? Can we ask these questions in this era? Or are we too much in the virtual world? These are the qualities of the future. And I'm not giving a long speech, as I said, I'm going to make it open and interactive. My last point to you for now, and I am going to tell a story at the end, but my last point to you as of now is, don't worry if you're confused. If you're overthinking about your confusion, then you're actually harming yourself. So what you need to do is worry a little less about being confused. Many of these people who are successful speakers today, they never knew what they're going to be doing in life. I've talked to many of them. I doubt that anyone was sure as to where I'm going to end up. Everybody changed the course of their lives. So if someone says, why aren't you sure about what you're doing? Tell them with due deference, reverence, tell them with due respect that sir or ma'am or dad or mom, I will make up my mind when the time comes. Just let me be. And parents, they love you. But sometimes their methodologies, their methods may be a little different from what you expect. They may be comparing you to others, which is not the ideal situation. But you have to be patient with your parents. They're human beings as well. And they have to be patient with you. If you want to do something which your parents don't want you to do for some reason, you have to explain it to them patiently. Don't slam the door and run away. Don't stop talking. Talk to them. Listen to them. Even if they get angry, come back after a month, come back after a week. Say, Papa, I want to talk to you again. Mama, I want to talk to you again. So patience and communication with sensitivity, sensibility, and empathy. All right, I think I'm rambling a bit too much. Already, I think half my speech time is over. Session time is over. Somebody will tell me at 25 minutes, please, when I'm done with 25 minutes in all. Now, I want to open the floor for questions. And you can ask me anything as the title goes. But I do want you to ask about your uncertainties. Well, life is not predictable. Life is unpredictable. So what do I do in this unpredictable era? You want to ask me that? Anyone? Any questions? Questions about your career, questions about your choices, questions about the way you are and the way you want to be, questions about confidence, courage, whatever? Anyone? Yes. What's your name? Tell me your name.
My name is Aravind.
Say away from the mic. Say your name loudly.
My name is Aravind.
Elvin.
Aravind.
Okay, I'll get that later. Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
Arvind.
Sir, I wanted to get your perspective on something that I was thinking about a lot. So a person of eminence recently, while he was speaking about poverty of aspiration among Indian youth, he said that even talented people aspiring to be a bureaucrat is a poverty of aspiration. So as an ex-bureaucrat yourself, I wanted to get your perspective on it.
Yeah, it's a very good question. I'll rephrase it for those who may not have understood. So you didn't give the name, but I'll give the name. He's Sanjeev Sanyal, somebody who's in the PMO. He said that there is a poverty of aspiration among those who are aspiring for the civil services, right? Sanjeev Sanyal said that. Now he wants to know, he's confused as to whether that is a correct statement or not. Those who are aspiring for the civil services or the Indian Administrative Service or the Indian Police Service or whatever, I would say you have to aspire for it if you're reasonably sure that you want to aspire for it. Many people, they get into the rut of competitions only because the neighbor or the cousin or somebody else is in it. Now that used to happen in earlier eras. I heard that somebody enlisted for the army because the friend was going, so he also went. He went for 30 years, he's gone over there. In this era, you can't do that. You can't do that. You have to be, I said you can be confused, but you have to eliminate certain things which you're not good at or you don't want. You eliminate certain things which are not for you, based on your acumen, your talent, your ability, your mindset, your thought process, your creative thinking. So civil services aspirants should be those who are those with general awareness, communication skills. They should be damn good at one subject, at least one optional subject, which could be physics or maths or science or whatever it is. They have to be good students, that is, and good at expression, communicators. If you're not, you can improve, but you have to take an assessment after 1 year of competing for the civil services or 2 years after your college, whether this is for me or not. There are people who spend 6 years aspiring for the civil services, and at the end of 6 years, they're in despair. Their parents are thinking all the time, this guy will make it to the civil services, whereas there's a hollow feeling inside. So the poverty of aspiration means that those who are aspiring need to take a reality check. It is the toughest exam in the world, which ChatGPT also failed. ChatGPT failed that exam. So if you think ChatGPT is smart and you fail the exam, you have to be smarter than ChatGPT for that. The point is that Sanjeev Sanyal probably said it a bit blatantly, but what he meant was, go for the civil services if you think you have a chance, and go for 1 or 2 years, don't go for 6 years. That's my point. Does that explain it? Okay, thank you. Next question, please. Questions about career, about choices, about... Yeah, we got a raised hand there. What's your name? Yeah, what's your name?
I'm Ishan.
Ishan, okay.
I have a question about career choice and
Yes,
college subjects.
go ahead.
I wanted to liberal arts, but I'm not exactly sure about what subjects I want to take. And also, I was looking at the bioinformatics course you have at Shoolini. It looked very interesting, but I want to know a little more about it.
So what are you about? That's the question. What is within you? What is your passion? What do you like? What do you like?
I like sports.
Which class are you in?
I'm in 11th.
You like sports? When I was in class 11, I loved sports. I was a cricketer. What do you play?
I play football.
So why don't we allow him to play football and not study? Won't happen, huh? Won't happen. You need a degree as well, perhaps, even in this era. You need to study. What subjects do you like, apart from football?
I like
English?
bio, I like math.
Maths?
Yeah.
You like math and you want to go to bioinformatics? So I think there is a synergy. Informatics is about, there's some amount of logic is required for sure. Maths is about logic as well, right? So I think you need to go slow. Don't worry about the decision today, tomorrow, day after. You're in class 11, right? So think about it deeply. Eliminate what is not for you. If chartered accountancy or commerce is not for you, which subject do you have in 11th?
I have physics, chemistry, math, and bio.
Yeah, so you have the science, right? So you're not going into commerce, etc. You're going to the sciences, right? And
For now.
do you want to go into the sciences even now? Not sure.
I want to do business as an end goal, but undergrad subjects, first thing I'm going to study, science.
So I'm not going to talk about the Shoolini choice. I would say that any university you go to, I may recommend a dual degree kind of degree for you, where you have a science option, as well as maybe you have something like sports management, if it's available, or something which is to do with something close to your heart. If you were in music, I would have said music. If it is something like the study of languages or literature. We were meeting a gentleman from Singapore yesterday who was telling us about such terrific courses, and we should actually, you should talk to him. Maybe he can give you some more ideas. He has 1,000 courses which are absolutely fresh, and he's coming up on the stage tomorrow. Tomorrow he's coming up on stage. Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Yes. What's your name? Swati. You need the mic. You need the mic. Only Amitabh Bachchan doesn't need the mic. Yeah.
I'm Swati. So at present, I teach psychology in Kumurguru College. So I finished my bachelor's degree in commerce 15 years ago. And I went ahead and did master's in social work. And later I realized I liked social work. I worked in that sector for around half a decade. And then I pursued my education in psychology. And at present, after like around 7 to 8 years, I teach psychology. Now I have the urge, of late I've been having the urge to study in depth economics, statistics, history. I'm confused, like you said, I'm confused. I am discovering my interest now at 35 years of age.
You don't have to tell your age out here. Okay.
So how do I deal with myself? So how do I deal with these thoughts?
I think you're evolving. I mean, we're all evolving, right? I think you're evolving.
Thank you.
Round of applause for Swati.
Thank you.
See, I think psychology is a fabulous subject. I've been talking about people skills. I don't know psychology. I'm an electronics engineer. I know nothing about all these things. But experience has taught me about people. So within 5 minutes with experience, you can understand a person pretty well. Right? The ladies can understand a man within 1 minute. Without even talking to him. Seriously. Now psychology is great, but economics is fantastic. I have started loving economics. The one magazine I read still is The Economist, and it comes in print. And if you read The Economist, you get to know about the world. And you also read good English, good language. So I would suggest you don't need to study. I would not suggest a course. You can do an informal course. You can do a non-formal course. You can do your job as well as read economics informally. You can attend conferences, you can attend seminars, you can attend events, enroll for them. So think laterally, venture, but unless you're very die-hard into economics later, don't change your stream. Because you're good at psychology. But evolving interests are great. So we all have to improve in life. We can't be where we were, stuck, at wherever we were. And I'm very fascinated by your choices. Fantastic.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for the clarity. I needed to hear that. Thank you.
We're encouraging you. Go
Thank
ahead. Okay, who's next? I think I have only about 5 minutes left if my timing sense is okay. Will someone ratify that? Someone tell me whether I have 5 minutes left or how many minutes do I have? All the organizers seem to have, Anil and Chetna are nowhere to be seen. Okay, yeah, over there. How many? 5? Time out? Time up? Okay. But I will take another 4 minutes to tell you a story. I'm not going to ask another question from you, ask you to ask another question because there are so many wonderful speakers coming up all day long and you can ask them all the difficult questions which you were hesitating to ask me. I'm going to tell you a story which illustrates what I've told you till now. And we have a piano on the stage, so it helps me. Anil is not here, but he knows this story very well. There was a famous musician named Mr. Pedrewski. Pedrewski is a Polish name. And he was absolutely a star. And he would come and perform the piano like Anil Srinivasan is a star. He would come and play the piano and people in the audience would be captivated, mesmerized. In Sanskrit or Hindi we say mantra mugdh. Absolutely speechless with the mesmerizing way in which Pedrewski used to play the piano. And when Pedrewski used to come, no noise was in the audience. There were absolute pin drop silence. Now a young lady and her child, they walk in before the show is to begin in a hall. 500 people are waiting. The young lady and her child walk in and they go and sit down surreptitiously, which means without letting anyone know, quietly, without telling anyone, chupke chupke. Because children below 12 are not permitted. No permi. They're not allowed. And she goes and sits in a corner with a 5-year-old because she wants to listen to Pedrewski. I know it's time. I was told. And she wants to listen to Pedrewski. And Pedrewski comes. Pedrewski is not on the stage yet. They sit down quietly. She spots a friend sitting 2 rows ahead. And that friend is a close friend. So she tells the child, you stay here, I'll go and meet my friend. She goes to talk to the friend and means to be back within a minute. But sometimes when 2 friends meet, it can go longer. And she goes on talking to the friend. The child is a 5-year-old naughty person. And when you were 5-year-old, I hope you were naughty and are still naughty. goes out and runs. And he spots a sign saying no entry where the stage was there. And he goes inside that no entry. And he finds himself on the stage with the piano. And the curtain is still closed. And now three things happen at the same time. The child starts playing the piano, just banging on the keys without knowing how to play. The curtain opens, Mr. Pedrevsky comes, and the mother comes back on the seat. And the mother finds that the child is gone. She thinks she will be arrested now because anyway she was not allowed inside. And she turns around and finds that the child is playing the piano on the stage. It is a moment of shock for the mother. It is also a moment of shock for Pedrevsky, who is walking on the stage because he finds the child playing the piano. Now when Mr. Virat Kohli goes out to bat, if you find a 5-year-old going out to bat instead of you, instead of Kohli, what will you do? You'll probably give him one. But he's mellowed a bit because he got married and he has 2 kids, so he won't do it. The point is, Mr. Pedrevsky comes on the stage and he has 2 options. One option is to lose his cool, lose his temper. The second option is to call for another stool. So he spots the child sitting on his stool. He says, bring one more stool. And they bring the stool and Pedrevsky starts playing with the child. And the child is playing bang, 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 bang. He doesn't know how to play. And Pedrevsky improvises. And he doesn't play the planned concert. He doesn't go according to his planning. He changes his tunes, he improvises, he innovates, and he comes up with a totally different concert altogether. I'm not going to ask you to tell me which qualities Pedrevsky exhibited in this story because we don't have time. But I will tell you the one quality that matters. The one quality that matters in a great leader, a great celebrity, a great persona is humility. Humbleness. Leadership is about being humble. And the second one, adapting to a new situation. He doesn't expect anybody to be on his seat, let alone a 5-year-old child. Adapting without losing your cool, retaining your calmness. And Paramahansa Yogananda, author of the autobiography, said, I'll close with this quote. He said, be calmly active and actively calm. Thank you very much. Once again, thank you very much for the invitation. It was a joy to speak. All the best.